Hello, welcome to the GenXplainers Podcast, The Perfect Song. I want to welcome the panel. There's Al, there's Mike, and there's Rand. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. And we have to work on the hello. Okay, so today we are looking at a song. I'm bringing the candidate, and it is a song from 1978 from the band Kraftwerk, or Kraftwerk. And the song is The Model. A little background on it. It came out, like I said, in 78 from the album The Man Machine, which is their 7th album, which is hard for me to believe, but yeah, because they had Audubon, they had Trans-Europe Express and all that. But anyway, 7th album, it was a track on that, and it actually didn't get to be a hit until 3 years later when they re-released it while promoting their album Computer World. Just a quick primer on Kraftwerk, if you haven't heard of them. They're like the sort of the pioneers of electronic music, quite honestly. I mean, they started in 1970. The first 3 albums they did were kind of more just sort of experimental. They were in the Dusseldorf music scene, and there was a lot of experimental music going on. And it was later dubbed krautrock movement, kind of. But the first 3 were sort of slightly more traditional. There was keyboards, but there was flute and more traditional instruments. But their fourth album was Audubon, where they decided we're going to do all electronic instruments, and they sort of went from there. And that was their breakout album. And, their influence, I mean, I can't overstate their influence. They're like the seminal electronic band, foundation of like synth-pop, techno, and any modern electronic-based music. Certainly they mainstreamed the idea of doing that, I do remember hearing it, some friend of the family play, I believe it might have been Audubon or something. I was like 10 years old or something. And I remember being blown away by it and saying, what is this? Because, it's hard to imagine, because we're old, but it's hard to imagine that there just wasn't any way to hear electronic music like this.
I mean, you could have just gone to Spotify, right? And checked it out, do some searches. What was wrong with that?
Now, the search engines were weaker then.
Got it.
They were in books.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, they found some success, so they were, people were exposed to them, and I know personally, I was like, wow, I was really, really impressed, or maybe not even impressed. I was just like, what is this?
Confused.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it.
Curious.
Yeah.
She's a model and she's looking good. I'd like to take her home, that's understood. Hard to get, she smiles from time to time. It only takes a camera to change her mind.
And like Alan has said, the technology, their sort of trajectory of like musicians and the advent of music synthesizer technology, electronic keyboard technology was sort of, they intersected in a perfect way. So they ran with it, and they influenced, well, I would say they influenced every electronic band after that. Certainly one of my favorite bands I'll mention, OMD, they idolize Kraftwerk, and you listen to some OMD songs and you're like, oh, that's Kraftwerk. So they were a huge influence, and they started in like 1979, 80. So they were just in the middle of it. Yeah, they did really well in the UK when the Computer World album came out. That's sort of where the single, The Model, took off the most. It did, obviously seeped over into America too. But anyway.
I can't remember for sure, but weren't the first like real synthesizers like some like mid 60s, late 60s anyway. So like during that time frame, people were just discovering the synthesizer anyway.
Definitely, yeah, because you have a lot of these prog rock bands from the late 60s and early 70s, using them as well. Mellotron as well was a very big sort of, it started seeping into, again, these more fringy kind of musical styles.
Remind me again when Sparks got started and when they didn't immediately dive into electronic music.
No, they had more kind of quirky pop, guitar-based stuff.
Okay. Until later on in the 70s. Okay.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint when they started doing the more keyboardy
Wasn't
stuff.
Wasn't it like number one song in heaven, or before then?
When they got with Giorgio Moroder and all that?
I just wish someone would make a documentary about Sparks. That would be really good.
Silly.
I'm just going to be all sarcastic on this one.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna make a comment on it like, this guy doesn't even know about the Sparks movie.
Number one song in heaven was released in 1979.
Okay, so that late 70s. Yeah. I mean, obviously, disco had a lot of like synth elements, and a lot of it was real instrumentation, but some of it was like, ooh, let's play with these new keyboard sound things we can do, Yeah,
but still Kraftwerk way ahead of their time.
Way ahead. I think in film soundtracks too, when they were trying to get like crazy weird moods, like they use synthesizers for sci-fi movies and things, and but it was more of a, I guess it was more of a, I can't think of words. Like novelty. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, more of a novelty. So anyway, get back to this. So the lyrics were written by Emil Schult, who was in love with or dating a model at the time. The music, well, he actually wrote music too, but it was actually too guitar heavy, evidently, for what they were sort of doing. And they said, well, we're going to rearrange what you're writing here. And they made it all electronic, very, well, it becomes what we hear. But it was rewritten by Bartos and Hütter. Let me get their full names, sorry. Real quick.
No, I just want you to say that again.
Bartos and Hütter.
Ralf Hütter.
Yeah, Ralf Hütter and Karl Bartos. I could have guessed those as German names. Oh, Karl and Rolf? Okay.
You sure there's not a Hans in there?
It could be Hans.
She's playing her game and you can hear them say, she's looking good for beauty, we will pay.
It's short, it's straightforward, pretty simple, but they create a soundscape that I really like. So let's.
And not a lot of their stuff is short, right? I mean, they were known for longer kind of pieces. So
yeah, like 20 minutes.
This is more single
minutes.
Material, and not a surprise that it became their breakthrough.
Exactly, and I think probably they were going for that on this album because also on this album is Robots, which is a shorter song, and it's not as short, but it's a shorter song generally.
I like the directness of their song titles.
Yeah.
Robots, Computer World,
The Model,
Pocket Calculator,
Tour de France.
Okay, so how about you guys? Can you remember when you first heard Kraftwerk or even this song? Let's start with Al. It says he's next on my visual list here of people.
Okay.
Anyway.
I heard Kraftwerk before I heard The Model, although I guess if I'd heard The Model first, I would have heard both simultaneously.
It would have been weird if you heard the model first and then Kraftwerk. although the trivia, it has been covered many times. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Once by Rammstein, I believe.
Yes.
I have yet to hear that version. I'm intrigued by it.
Sie ist ein Model und sie sieht gut aus. Ich nehm sie heute gerne mit zu mir nach Haus.
I probably heard Tour de France first, and that would have been probably early 80s. I don't know that I heard them, like I was out of the country for part of the 70s, but I remember having a very similar reaction to you, Matt, like, wow, I've never heard anything like this before. And I was drawn into that kind of music. I probably heard the model, I'm going to say like in the late 80s. I don't even really remember when. It was just like on a compilation of different things. I like Kraftwerk. I haven't actively listened to them a lot. So that's kind of in a nutshell my history.
Okay. How about you, Mike?
I don't specifically remember exactly the time frame that I heard them in, but I know Tour de France, like Alan, was my first one that I heard of theirs. And I remember hearing it because I saw people breakdancing playing it. So it was actually like used a lot with breakdancers, I am told.
That makes sense, though. I think if you listen to Tour de France,
yeah, and that's actually probably the first time I was aware of them. I may have heard something before that and just didn't know that it was them or something like that.
Because there was so much stuff that sounded like it.
I was gonna say that's hard to.
No, I mean, like I could have been over at somebody's house and heard it, and I just didn't know, or listening to it background stuff. So Tour de France was the first one I actually actively listened to, I should say. And so I do remember hearing that, and I remember buying the 12-inch single of Tour de France because I really liked it a lot. So that was
the
extended version. So it's 20 minutes long. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I don't think I really listened to Kraftwerk more until my college years, though. So
Okay. And Rand, when did you first hear him?
I'm going to tell one of my silly childhood stories.
Yay!
So,
All right.
when I was, it would have been in the 70s, probably the late 70s. And we didn't have, we had a TV that had a knob on it. There was no remote control. And it had a fine-tune knob around the switch where you would turn the channel. And we somehow learned, I don't know how you learned stuff back then, that if you go to channel 7 and then fine-tune the knob to the left, you could get Cinemax.
Oh.
And this is when cable just first came out. And this...
I know how you found out.
You're watching Cinemax, the 24-hour movie network. The following feature has been rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America. It is intended for mature audiences, and parents may wish to consider whether it should be viewed by those under 17. This feature will be shown on Cinemax only at night.
So it's funny that Cinemax is still out there now. They call it Max, but back then we called it Skinemax because it was a lot of dirty movies and alternative movies, really, honestly, indie stuff. And it was a cool way to check stuff out. And we would, we'd flip it over there from time to time because there were only like a few channels to watch and there wasn't anything else on. And in between the movies, they would just play weird stuff. I saw a lot of my first music videos. I saw like Clues by Robert Palmer, which was a really cool early music video on Cinemax in between movies. And then one time they played this long animation piece. I don't think it was officially a Kraftwerk music video, but it was just this weird sort of trippy animation, this little character kind of like moving through this house. and the soundtrack was Autobahn. And I remember just thinking, what is this trippy music? And I was just like really drawn into it. Like you said, Matt, nothing you've ever heard before. And the animation was fascinating, but the music was equally fascinating. And we were just like, and again, we somehow figured out who it was. I think that we just kind of said, who is this? I mean, there was no way to look it up. There's no way to find out. And then years later, we heard Autobahn. And we're like, aha, that was the song that was playing in that animation. And then myself, Alan and I are often similar. And once again, this is the case. I do not actively listen to Kraftwerk. I enjoy their music, and I don't really even understand where I've heard a lot of their stuff, but it's mainly all their singles, and every once in a while I'll just kind of dive in a little bit here and there. But I don't own anything by them, but I do enjoy their music and appreciate their pioneer nature.
Yeah. My daughter listens to Kraftwerk a lot, specifically the Robots, because she loves that song. But yeah, I actually bought, and this was like 80s. This was like junior high, early high school. I bought Trans-Europe Express on vinyl, and I have vivid memories of me listening to that album a lot over and over and enjoying it. And yes, definitely Tour de France. I had that 12-inch as well, the bicyclist on the cover and the very bold blue and red, design. Again, I can't really overstate how influential they were and how, really affected the culture, music culture especially, and what you could do.
I would just add, just building on what Mike said earlier, is one of the musical genres we forgot to mention they influenced was hip hop. Because they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the beats.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to run through sort of my quick, as I listen to it now. I mean, again, I knew the song very well, but when we do these podcasts, at least I listen to them over and over and sort of try to be objective about it. And, obviously part of it is like personal history about like how you feel about the song, but I try to, come at it in a more not scientific, but a different approach. So we mentioned that it is shorter than a lot of their other songs. And it has, and this is true for kind of all their songs. It's just a very hypnotic but like infectious groove going along the whole way. Especially that little bass line that doom 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 doom, just over and over throughout the whole thing. And then to me, it somehow sounds quirky but sinister. This particular song at the same time. It has the low end and the drum machine and the low end bass going. But then there's this high, it sprinkles with these high little, a high synth line, that sort of work off each other. And I like the quote solo part in the middle with the high and low kind of just going at the same time with no singing. And then the end kind of ends with this like a held really high note over the bass line and then stops and just ee. And anyway, that's structurally how I listen to the song, and I enjoy that structure.
Well, I also think that something you just said there, Sparks, his vocals and the way he sings and also the lyrics, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I was about to hit the lyrics here. The lyrics are kind of, I mean, they seem very sort of, he seems very detached and removed from what he's singing about, and very like emotionlessly saying, she's a model, she's looking good. Yeah. And then she goes, I'd like to take her home. It's just like very, it's not like a from the heart, like yearning emotional thing. It's the opposite of that. And
that's understood.
That's understood. Exactly.
That's understood.
I mean, it can be taken a lot of different ways. A lot of sort of writings on the internet or people talking about what they think the lyrics mean. Some of them are very like over the top, saying, oh, it's a complete critique of the consumerism of beauty. And I say, yeah, it is that, but there's other things going on too, I think. It's not just that. I think
There's a horny guy too.
Well, I was going to say, I think the singer or the point of view is actually almost like resigned to it and is complicit in it and doesn't mind so much. Again, very emotionless. He's not like, I mean, you can take that from the lyrics, the sort of message of it about that, but I don't think they're trying to preach anything necessarily. Maybe they are, maybe they are. Maybe it's the German way of trying to preach, but it seems like, oh, sorry, Mike. It seems like, the lyrics, they're very matter of fact or deliver that way, but it's like infatuation is there, but also just like it seems like at the minute it seems like he's critiquing her behavior. It's like, oh, she's on the cover of the magazine. Oh, but I want to meet her again. I mean, I want to get involved with this thing that I'm looking at, which is why I say he's not necessarily, saying this is the worst thing ever. He's like, I want to be a part of that. I mean, she's a model. She's looking good. She's on the cover of a magazine. Yeah. I want to meet her again, Anyway.
It's intoxicating.
Yeah. So how about you guys? What do you think about when you listen to it now?
Well, I agree. The sinister part, I definitely get that. I mean, I also think it's very cinematic sounding. You would mention that they use synthesizers in movies, or in long ago, and I think that comes across as well. You get the cinematic element, this kind of very sinister element, like, and there's something about that musical combination, both the low end that's very doom 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 doom, just kind of like what's happening here, and then you get these little creepy kind of keyboard, the high end stuff is a little creepy sounding, and I think sinister is really the key word for it. I'll go ahead and just keep saying it over and over again. I mentioned I love the simplicity of their song titles, the simplicity of their lyrics, just the straightforwardness. And I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys have something to say about this. I always assumed it had something to do with the translation into English, that maybe it sounds a little bit more, I'm not sure where I'm looking for it. Not so simple if in the German language version, but right, I would maybe never know because guess what? I don't speak German. So.
Yeah, maybe there's more nuance or something.
Nuance, yes, exactly.
In the German version. And then when they translate it, they say, well, this is as close as we can get.
Straightforward, yeah. So as far as their lyrics sounding simple in English, I could see that as being a detracting from the music and from them, but I think it's actually part of their charm. I think it's something that through all their music and definitely on this track that I think is, I don't know how they do it, but there's something very cool about it.
And their image certainly in, for this album, they're like Devo in a way. Like every album has a look or has an aesthetic to it. And it's all very thought out. And that goes to the experimental art. I mean, they were basically, someone was quoted that they're an art piece in themselves, like early on, but they continued to do that. And again, had a look and an aesthetic for every album. This one was the red shirts and the black ties and, and the look and their videos, or the film stuff that they did for this song and other songs, very purposeful in its look. And they've retained that. I mean, they stand there 4 in a row on the stage with their keyboards in front of them. And that's their, oh, look, it's the Kraftwerk thing. That's the look.
They played Coachella this year.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Can you imagine if they were up there dancing,
Yeah. I should say rest in peace, Florian, from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Or 4 years ago, maybe 2020, a long time ago. But he was there the whole time from the beginning. Anyway.
He and Ralf were both there.
And Ralf, right.
And Hans. Right.
No.
Oh, Hans.
How about Mike? Listening to it now, what was your reaction?
I don't really think I felt different about it now because I've heard it so many times over the years. I've sort of like it's one of their songs that I've probably heard the most, and so I didn't have a long break of not hearing it.
Right.
It's like in rotation on my iPod, stuff like that. So
always there.
So I don't really know if I have any different thoughts on it, like listening to it now versus when I first heard it, because it's sort of like something that's always been there for me. I have to admit, like Randy, I don't really own too much by them. I have a couple things like the single for Tour de France, and I have the really good live albums, stuff like that. But I don't really own anything else of theirs.
No one owns anything anymore, Mike.
No, you don't want to give them any of your money, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's.
Just stream it. It's fine.
I'm sure I used to have like something back in the day, but I don't think I have it anymore. So
yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
but yeah, no, I mean, I like the song a lot still. And I still really appreciate all that they've done, but I don't really have too many different opinions or thoughts on the song that from when I first heard it to now.
Okay. Al, how about you?
I don't think I've heard this song a lot. I've definitely heard this song. I oddly prefer the German version. I think and this is not only true of this song or this band. There are a lot of I don't know if I heard the German version first or the English version first. I can't really say. But when I listen to the German version, I'm like, well, I don't know what they're talking about, but this music is fantastic. And then when I listen to the English version, I'm like, I love this music, and I'm all right with this song, with the lyrics. Like part of it's like, yeah, all right.
Too much information.
Well, Rammstein does it in the German version, so.
So I'm.
You got it. I will already have played a little, but you should check that out.
I will. Before this comes out, I will have listened.
Nice.
But the effect on me of the music is unmistakable. It still has the same allure to me. To me, the music is this weird combination of sterile and so therefore cold, but also the synth sound itself is so warm, especially that sort of mid-range synth. I think it's beautiful. And like you said, hypnotic.
We hope you're enjoying this GenXplainers podcast. Please remember to find us and follow us on social media. And we'd much appreciate a 5-star rating on the podcast platform of your choice. Now, let's get back to the show. I think we can vote, yeah? Does anyone else have anything to say? All right.
Yeah.
Let me just say, bringing this song to the panel, I haven't had too much luck with these electronic Cars. No. Cars by Gary Numan. No. Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams. No, it wasn't. I don't know if this is going to go any better, but I'll just start and say, I think it is a perfect song. I mean, again, they're aesthetic. They're a whole package. And I think they just pull it off. They're the originals, and they do it great. I wouldn't probably call one of their longer songs perfect necessarily, although, like Audubon, it's like a little movie in your head. We talked about the movie, and it is long though. It's like a whole side of an album, I think. I don't know. It's at least like 10 minutes long. But again, this is short. Again, that checks a couple boxes. It's almost it is like a single, and it's catchy, and it's very enjoyable, and I think a perfect song. So there's my vote. How about Mike?
I knew that was going to happen.
Looking at him. I'm looking at him. He's like,
I'm gonna vote no.
So again, strike 3. All right, no more electronic music on this channel.
I'm voting no. I really like the song. I do. I can't go perfect on it because it just, for me, doesn't work on all levels.
Okay, fair enough. How about Rand?
I'm deciding right now.
Oh, okay. You want me? Should we go to Al then? And
No, it's fine. No, I can decide. I'm kind of along with you, Matt. Like, there's a number of other Kraftwerk songs that if you would have chosen, I think I would have said, I don't think so, but as this is the one. I mean, there's something really grabbing about this one, and it's always really worked for me. I'm gonna go thumbs up. I'm saying perfect.
Nice. All right. Okay, Al, what do you think?
It's a hard choice for me because if it was just the music, I would say yes. And I don't know what it is about the it's not really the vocal delivery so much, because I think the vocal delivery matches like the aesthetic of the song as well. It just doesn't really quite get me over the line. Also, I can't believe that I didn't vote yes for Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. So maybe you're just saying it just didn't win.
Right. It was unanimous. I don't,
Okay.
honestly, I don't remember whether you did. Everyone go check that out too. And go down a rabbit hole and find our episodes, our past episodes.
and listen to some of my rather poor votes in previous episodes.
Well, such is the nature of declaring something one thing or another. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But on this one, I don't think I'm going to regret saying I don't think it's perfect.
Okay. It's funny because, the thing about the lyrics, you don't it doesn't connect to you in English. I'm kind of with Rand, is like, I feel it's part of the charm, their English lyrics, because it is kind of stilted and kind of strange. But
oh yeah,
to me, it's like adding a nice little extra spice to it. And I kind of really enjoy it. And it's just so them. So we have a split decision. Yeah. So that means listeners and viewers, go listen to it. Make your own decision, won't you? And we're going to wrap it up. We went a little long, but you know what? Thanks to the panel. Thank you, everybody. And thanks for listening. And we will see you next time. Say bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.